Hey guys, I got another build, Purifying Flame, Trapper. Uh, I wanted to try Trapper, I wanted to try like a Lightning Striker, or not Lightning Strike, a Lightning Trap build this league. So I started off leveling, on this character with it. It was pretty nice, pretty good clear, but then I was thinking, Purifying Flame. A big benefit of this is you can get a large amount of AoE with it, and it gives consecrated ground, which then allows you to easily hit like a really high amount of crit. So then I can scale less like crit nodes on tree, right? And get more like survivability or just like pure damage nodes. And then I was also thinking you can get things like stat sticks. Fizz damage is extra. I got 2 of them. You can get like amulets with it, and it's also supported by like auras a lot better. So I started messing around with it. So I'll just give a quick demonstration in a Minotaur. It's not a crazy Minotaur. It's hexproof. It's reduced damage from crit. I think AOE, LA weakness AOE, hexproof, reduced damage taken from crits. And as a crit build, that lowers my damage a lot, but we'll just do a quick demonstration. We'll just skip Gavas for now. Or, you know what? No, we'll do it real quick. Because it's really good in these two. It's really good in Delve, which was another huge reason why I wanted to test this, just because, you know, I can just stand still in the middle of a delve run and just throw my traps, look away, and I won't even like get hit. Rip that one, but you get the point. See, it just covers the whole screen, and this isn't an open map exactly, but in open maps it almost covers the whole screen with consecrated on one throw, and then the shockwaves that it gives, right? The first consecrated that hits the enemy will create consecrated ground, and then like let's say if a trap corruption room, if each trap hits a different enemy, then that's creating a single hit on one of those enemies, and then it's creating the shockwaves from the other 3, and those damage the first enemy hit as well. So they're getting hit 4 times every time. But then they're also hitting all the other enemies, so basically everything gets hit 4 times, no matter what. It's more consistent coverage compared to, I did not kill him, did I? It's more consistent coverage to, like Lightning Trap, which I found kind of, ooh, some lag, which I found would leave stragglers every now and again. This 100% doesn't. Which is nice. You don't have to like consider the whole, you know, you have to do like an extra throw just so you can you know, get satisfying clear amount. Again, this is a 34% reduced crit area. So, like, right now, my character at optimal DPS does about 2.5 mil Shaper. It isn't a lot, but considering the amount of defenses I've gotten from this, and like kind of like the just ease of use, I enjoy it a lot. Splinter research. I'll leave like a timestamp for certain things in the video, like going over gems real quick, gear choices, stuff like that. But it's pretty simple. It's just like a crit. Think of it as like if you've ever done any type of like fizz spell scaling, so or fizz crit. So think of like a BV, sort of. GC minor would be fine too to compare it to. Any of like the current fizz or holy spells, most likely they're scaled kind of the exact same way. I mean, this is a holy skill, so it's a fizz spell, so a lot of improvements you can make as well. I haven't min-maxed this 100%. I just didn't feel the need to. So, I mean, it's not exactly a cheat build, right? You can get, you know, 1.5 mil shaper damage pretty easily. Not too difficult to get. It's going over like 2 mil where it gets a little if you want to spend a lot. So I can just sort of face tank him because of the way Tinker Skin works. And with all my regen, I have about 31% life regen. And then you have the Tinker Skin, 100 life for each trap thrown. Right, which every time I throw a trap, that's about 400 life. But then I'm also throwing, I think I have 0.32 traps throw per second. Where is that shown? Trap throwing speed modifier, 67%. So yeah, it's around 0.34, 0.32. And then you're getting the frenzy charges, and you're getting power charges while throwing because of the trap nodes here, and as well as in the chest. Chest gives frenzy charges, and it also gives phasing. The cooldown recovery on Tinker Skin isn't needed. Like I could take my gloves and turn it into another trap skill, but I never felt like I needed to do that. If I did, I'd probably go with like Seismic Trap because it's fizz, and we have a lot of fizz as extra damage through our amulets and our scepters. Another thing, I can get more damage through like my enchant, which I chose the 30% increased area effect if targeting consecrated ground, because the way that works is your first hit basically will just spread consecrated wherever, so every sequential hit after that. So basically, as soon as your first trap goes off, when the second one goes off, which is almost immediate, but there is an order to the way the traps go off, especially with chain reaction. The AoE just blooms up, because I don't have a whole lot of AoE on tree, actually. So the 30% makes a huge difference. If you had like these other AoE nodes, wouldn't make that big of a difference, because it's kind of like it's a stacking scaling. It's not like a flat, like multiplicative with each other scaling. So yeah, it's fairly basic, right? Fairly basic tree. Get some life. It's EB Mom, which is a bit difficult because you have so little like shield. The whole reason for EB Mom though is so that we can 100% reserve with like anger, hatred. You can also use wrath. Would not recommend it because it's not like, it doesn't it gives more lightning damage, which we're not exactly lightning damage based. You can make this a lightning damage based if you want. You would have to get the Watcher's Eye wrath that converts fizz to lightning, and then you would you'd probably have to get like an added lightning instead of hypothermia. That would probably help, because Purifying Flame does have a decent effectiveness of added damage, so it works out pretty alright. Then you'd want your Abyss jewels, which I'm not actually using because I wanted the trap throwing speed, just for more quality of life with the Tinker Skin and just being able to clear speed better. But yeah. So let's go over gear slot choices. Your scepter, you want at least one fizz damage extra. I would go for fire damage because if you build it the way I did, you're more heavily focused on the fire damage, right? So you want that. Then you want crit and crit multi if you can get it. Go for crit especially. Crafted crit is fine because you can get, 69% a top roll. That's not too bad. You're only missing about 40% top, and then get like crit multi. I'm pretty sure you can craft crit multi too. Hold on, let me check. Okay. Alright, wait. Multi. Yeah, you can craft it, which is fine. It'd just be up to you, whatever you can find. Honestly, getting one with like a T2 crit chance for spells is probably slightly better than, and then just craft on some crit multi if you can. Crit multi is a big damage boost, so try to focus on that. Like this one doesn't even have crit multi on it, but it does have added fire damage to spells, which again, Purifying Flame has a very high effectiveness of added damage, so this actually adds quite a bit of damage itself. Like just the 2 spells rolls can also be supplemented, and instead of like multi, it won't be nearly as good as multi, but price cost ratio, that's 100% up to you. If you want to spend more, you can get more. This one is actually, this scepter is pretty expensive because of the elemental damage is extra chaos damage, which since we are doing basically all elements damage, it gives us a big boost, right? That 17% elemental damage as extra chaos is basically almost as much, gives us almost as much lightning or chaos damage as we have lightning damage. Which, I mean, I don't think I have a whole lot of lightning damage anyways, besides the physical as extra lightning, and then all the, I have like some LA damage areas, but still that one roll was big enough. Like we have, okay, back up. This skill gives a lot of physical damage, right? So 19% of our physical damage is extra lightning damage, is pretty huge, right? The 17% of the elemental damage is extra chaos damage is about the same damage-wise as like a physical damage to extra lightning damage roll, right? It's about the same. So if you can get this, really good. That and chaos damage bypasses like energy shield on certain creatures. So like if you have a rare that's like really tanky, you get those one rares that have a lot of ES. You kind of want some chaos damage, just kind of like clear through them way faster. Not needed, 100% not needed. Your damage is fine. It's just more like another quality of life thing I like to have. I like to have some chaos damage if I can get it. All this was a hubris circlet because I knew I needed a little bit of energy shield for my EB, right? Got the enchant I wanted just for clear speed. This one should be pretty cheap, and then I just pristine crafted it. Just pristine fossil, crafted some life and percent life. This isn't even, it's a T2 life roll. It's the pristine delve mod, and that's it. That's all it is. And then I just put on some energy shield so that it went up a little bit higher. Tinker Skin. Tinker Skin, like we said earlier, super good, gives life. It gives basically like a life gain on hit type of mod with your trigger. You gain life and energy shield, which is your sustain, right? So if you have taken damage with EB, it'll stop. It won't be recovering like this, right? Just like normal energy shield, when you take hit, it doesn't keep, recovering. So with the Tinker Skin, it allows us to just to continuously throw traps because they're constantly going off, replenishing our energy shield. Every throw, right, costs us 51 energy shield, but then we get back 400 or 200 every throw. So even if you are continuously taking hit damage, you are still getting energy shield back at a very quick rate. And by lowering your trap throwing speed, it allows you to never get in those moments while you're just like tanking damage that you won't be able to throw a trap, which will then probably kill you. So you want to also, that's why we focus a lot on trap throwing speed as well. Amulet, just some fat crit chance, multi percent damage. or percent physical as extra. Oh, there's another lightning. So yeah, 2% physical as lightning damage rolls is slightly more than 1% elemental damage as extra chaos damage roll. So you want that. You don't want it, but it's big. It's a big mod. If you have the money, get it. Try and get it on both if you can. That chance to gain power, frenzy, or endurance charges on kill, that was just a bonus I got. It's just gives me endurance charges while I'm going about the map, which is pretty nice. 100% not needed though. Your rings, all you want, res, life. If you can get energy shield, it'll help. Again for EB, other ring, same thing. Life, energy shield, lots of res. Get as much res as you can because, you know, like this is crafted. You don't have to craft this, but chances are you're probably going to have to craft it. Which shouldn't be too bad. I only used like probably 3 pristines. I could have kept going to get some res on it, but then I wanted to have an energy shield craft because you can't get it with pristines. Your belt, try to get some strength because we're a fairly low strength build. And anger, you want a decent chunk of strength. I think that's all. And Mortal Call, you're going to want strength on it. Blood Magic, you're going to want strength on it. I use Blood Magic Flame Dash just so I'm not eating into my my shield and my mana. So, and big reason for that is if you are taking like Ignite or or like you take a big hit and you need to get the fuck out of there, right? But you don't have any mana or shield because you just took the big hit. You can just eat into your life. You're always able to cast it no matter what. Worth it. So yeah, you need the strength. You could get 1 node of strength and you'd be fine, but we're point hungry, so try and get some strength, life, and like res to finish off your reses as you see needed. With your jewels, get a life roll. You will probably need like res, a life and res jewel here. This damage is nice, but it's not needed. Get a life and res roll because my gloves are pretty decent. And the thing is, you're gonna want to have skills which throw traps, throw up to 1 additional trap, right? And then you're gonna want life. You're gonna try and get as much res as you can, but you have to have. You don't have to have, but think of it this way: it's basically like a 33% more damage multiplier when you add that additional trap. Right, you take that trap away, you're losing. You go back, so you throw 3 traps now. With this, you throw 4, right? So you're just adding on a whole nother trap, so it's about 33% more damage multiplier. It's way too good. It helps with your Tinker Skin. It increases your damage. It increases your survivability. You need this. You need it. They're pretty expensive though, so big item. This is the first thing you want to go to. In fact, I would get like a 5-link Tinker and then go straight for throw an additional trap. We're using a Zeri's Promise. Mine's pretty bad, but again, physical damage as extra chaos damage, really good. And we're 100%, or not 100%, but we're a lot of elemental damage and conversion. So Zeri's Promise is probably the biggest damage flask that you can get. In fact, I'm pretty sure it 100% is. And then Experimenters, a Jade Flask with percent evasion rating, really good. You don't have a whole lot of evasion on tree, but as a dodge build, you still want to have some as backup. So with the Jade Flask, we go up to 48%, which is not great, but it's still pretty good. Then I got my Curse Diamond Flask. I don't have freeze immunity, mostly because chances are when I get frozen, I'm still like I just threw a bunch of traps most of the time. So I'm 93 and I haven't died to freezing. I'm almost 94. I haven't died because I was frozen yet. That's 100% up to you. If you would prefer freeze immunity versus curse immunity, go for it. I prefer curses. And then an adrenaline quicksilver, just because it's adrenaline quicksilver and a bleed flask. It's Zeri's Steps. You want to try and get the dodge spell hits if you've taken spell hits recently, or any of the dodge ones or like movement speed, or really any enchant that will help you with clear speed would be nice. I like defenses. I like building my defenses up. So with this brings me up to 54% spell dodge, right? And most projectile attacks in this game, which are the attacks that will more than likely hit you the most often, will be spell based. So getting your spell dodge up really high is just huge for your survivability. Like, I only have 5.3k life and 700 shield, so I'm almost at 6k EHP, and I'm incredibly tanky just because like you saw with the Mino, it's just I'd never get hit. Yeah, so that covers the gear, right? Let's go over the tree real quick. Nothing too much to it, just crit, life, EB mom. You know, you just want to get these fatty life nodes. I got Arcane Expanse because I like the extra AoE and damage. This is about, while you're clearing, it's 20, 30, yeah, it's 30% AoE, which is nice. 100% not needed though. You could go with this crit multi for more damage. You could go with a little bit more life if you went down here and grab this, then you grab that crit node, stuff like that. There's a lot of options you can do. Again, crit though. Traps, acro, pretty simple, straightforward. You want the jewels that are close by, like that one. You could probably go for that one too. On these jewels, because we have such a low amount of percent life on the tree, percent life is better than flat life from abyss jewels or whatever, and this also allows you to get some crit multi and trap throwing speed, which again, survivability, clear speed. Trap throwing speed is really good. It's 100%. I feel like it's underrated if you like to go fast. And it's kind of like a more multiplier almost, you know? It's like attack speed in a way, or cast speed. That's exactly what it is. The more you have, the more damage you can deal out over a certain amount of time, and the more you can get out of dodge when you have to, and have less of a downtime between your damage and your dodging portion of like a boss fight. You could also go like over here for life instead of down here. That's 100%, and then you can get like one of these nodes if you have to. You're low on stats. Other than that, pretty basic. While leveling, I went for Perfect Crime, and then I went Pyromaniac, then I went Born in Shadows. Defenses. This is good damage. Chain Reaction is fine to get earlier, but I don't feel like I need it until I hit like Uber Lab, or until I'm like yellow maps, and then I'm like, maybe this will help a little bit. And it does help a little bit, but it's not huge. Because you get so much trap trigger area of effect that Chain Reaction more just helps, like, say you throw too many traps and there's like a straggler, which very rarely happens, right? It'll just trigger it off. Or if you miss throw and you're not right on the pack and you kind of get to the edge, it'll trigger. So it's more of like you don't have to aim that well. Back to this. So I have a Watcher's Eye. My Watcher's Eye converts the rest of my physical damage into a element. So this is where I am saying you can use Wrath. If you want, if you can get, because of physical damage to lightning damage, Wrath Eye is cheaper than an Anger one or a Hatred one. But it's big damage, especially with the scepters. If you have those, you definitely want a Watcher's Eye. It's not needed, but it's very nice DPS wise. This is about a 20% damage multiplier, 20% more damage multiplier just from the Fizz converted with the scepters. Because of like the elemental damage, extra chaos, and then you got other sources. I think. Whatever. All I know is it gave me a decent amount of damage. And then if you can try and get Hatred. The reason why I like Hatred so much on this is, one, it's a Fizz build. Two, giving yourself cold damage as a freeze build allows you to, not as a freeze build, as a crit build allows you to freeze and chill very easily. Which again, survivability. It's defenses. You need defenses on every build. You gotta build your defenses, 100%. Yeah. Other than that, it's a pretty self-explanatory build. Defenses, defenses, defenses. Never forget your defenses, especially on like these more sketchy characters that I know a lot of people like to build nowadays. But yeah, I'll have a written guide out hopefully soonish. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Oh, another thing I forgot to remember or talk about: skills. I should probably talk about skill gems, huh? This guy's got me all distracted. We'll cover those real quick. They're pretty basic. I got Enlighten 3 just so I can have anger and hatred and have a little bit of mana left over. Nothing too major there. Purifying Flame, 21 Purifying Flame actually gives +1 base radius and consecrated ground radius. Nothing too major. You got your increased crit. You can change this out for multi or I think efficacy might be okay. Because of how big our flat damage is. I just like having a reliable crit chance, right? That's just me. If you're okay with like a lower amount of crit chance and not critting as reliably, but when you do crit, it's big, do crit multi. So trap support, trap and mind damage, cluster traps, hypothermia. Again, another reason why I like hatred is it allows you to use hypothermia, which is really good. Cast with damage taken, Mortal Call, Wave of Conviction. Most of our damage is fire. This gives us fire damage because of the anger and the scepter. So our Wave of Conviction does mostly fire damage, which means that we have, whenever we do get hit, which is when if something is able to hit us, chances are we probably want to deal more damage to it, right? So this goes off. Suddenly we have, we give them exposure, which is negative 25% of their other, their fire res. Pretty nice. Then Enfeeble, again, if they hit us, we want them to deal less damage. We want them to hit us less. So boom. We also have another cast when damage taken. This one has Firestorm and Energy Leech. So, like I said earlier, with like the big hits, right? The big hits, it'll tank you. Then it'll trigger your Firestorm. So you'll have a little bit. It's not a lot, but it's a little bit, and it might be. I have found that it is just enough leech to allow me to cast my traps. And as soon as I can cast my traps, we're fine. We're golden. It's those moments when you take a big hit and you can't cast your traps. Those are the most dangerous moments, right? So you want to try and prevent that. You could use like a Storm Brand instead. Something that hits very often. And the reason for that is because you want to stack you won't be dealing a lot of damage. So you're with like a cast with damage setup like this, you won't deal a lot of damage, so each instance of leech will be small, right? No matter what, unless they crit, obviously, but you don't want to rely on like your leech support to be crit only. So I used a Firestorm, which does a lot of hits very quickly, so it will stack up my instances of leech very quickly, which then just kind of pumps it up a lot faster. Firestorm will give you a little bit more ES when you need it quicker. The Storm Brand will last a little bit longer, right? And it'll travel with the enemy, so it's a bit more reliable. I prefer Firestorm. It's more instant. This you can have anything in here. You can have like a seismic trap if you want. You could even, because it's a level 20 trap, you could even have a 5-link Purifying Flame and then a 6-link like seismic trap for big damage. It's 100% up to you. I like the Purifying Flame, so I use that for my single target. And then Blood Magic, Flame Dash, faster casting. You want to get these off quick, and you don't want to ever not be able to cast it, so there you go. Yeah, that should be it. That should be everything. Yeah, if you got any questions, shoot me in game at sendmeleelol, or my in-game name is Ludius. My in-game account name is Ludiest. Switchblade character does not exist, but you can find me on the forums. Find whatever character I'm on, and then I'll leave a link, and then you can just whisper me there. I go through characters pretty quickly. So, anyways, thanks for stopping by, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, if you're thinking about trying Trapper, I highly recommend Purifying Flame Trapper. Yeah. Have a nice day. Thanks for stopping by.